You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by KCAA Radio this hour with the E Factor. We're going to be bringing you some very valuable information that we hope you can walk away and utilize and improve the living style of you and your family, and to learn how to leverage what you already own and control. Again, this is the E Factor. I'm Dr. Sharon Barnes, and this hour we'll be co-hosting with LaDeja Clark. Yes. And together we're going to share some information. LaDeja has an awesome story and experiences about dealing with the VA loans, about becoming a homeowner and investor while being part of a military family here across our country. Now she's a licensed realtor looking to leverage that experience she has to help our veterans and different people with home ownership. And again, I'm Dr. Sharon Barnes, and I am a realtor as well, but my passion is helping homeowners leverage property they already own and control with accessory dwelling unit strategies, and bringing together various tools like business formations, utilizing your living trust. Because in order to truly leverage what we have to treat it like a business. So this hour, we're going to talk about that as well. So we're going to start off with LaDeja talking about her VA experience and her service to the country and how she's taken this to go to the next level. And then we're going to come in and try to give you some tools on how to utilize different business entities, your living trust, and accessory dwelling unit strategies to not only own property, but to make that property an investment, to change the wealth direction of your family, and start creating some generational wealth. So welcome, LaDeja.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so it's LaDeja.
LaDeja,
yes,
sorry.
No problem. Yes, my name is LaDeja Clark. I'm here to discuss, like she said, my military experience, being married to a military soldier and growing up military, and getting introduced to real estate and what drove me and how I was introduced to real estate. So it all started first when we were in Kansas, Fort Riley, Kansas.
Right.
And we got married. My husband and I got married at a young age, and we just knew that we did not want to stay on post. We didn't want to stay on the military base at all. So we decided to purchase our first property right outside the military base. And it's crazy enough that when we were ready to actually close, my husband was in Europe for 9 months on a tour. So I had to put on my big girl shoes, and I had to be the power of attorney and sign all the paperwork as if I was him. I didn't know anything about anything, buying a home, VA loan, anything. So that was a fun experience, and I just kind of did everything they told me to do, read over the paperwork, signed the paperwork, and got the keys. And it was literally that simple and that easy, especially with the VA backing us up and supporting us, and also my husband being having a good credit score and everything like that.
That's always helpful.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the VA, because it's an awesome program. We really want to support our vets with getting housing. We know we have a homeless problem across the country,
yes.
And a lot of times the news headlines focus on our vets that's out there. And I know that in the past, as a realtor, using the VA loan, they had some strict requirements, and so unless it was a veteran that was selling the property, getting a VA loan offer accepted was kind of a issue. Did you encounter any of that, or how, when you were buying the house and submitted your offer, did you have any problems with people accepting the VA loan or seeing it as a benefit?
No, actually, we were the two places that we used our VA loan. We purchased two properties.
Okay.
As I was getting to, one was in Kansas, and then the next one was in Washington State.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on that. So after we decided that we were going to move from Kansas to Washington, we decided to lease out our property and it was easy in Kansas. It was easy in Washington. We had no problems because a lot of these places were in military areas.
Okay.
One in Kansas was Fort Riley. That was the military base, you know, right outside the base. So it was very common. And then in Washington, we were right in Olympia, which is about 20 minutes from JBLM, the military post out there.
Okay.
So my husband being active duty, you know, it's like, how could you turn it down? He was still currently
Right.
active, and that was, of course, you would be crazy not to use that.
Right.
So we never had any problems there in those two states. But
That's
California, I have not exercised the VA loan here yet, so I'm not sure what are the stipulations and the challenges that they give.
Right. Yeah, and I think it is a benefit to be close to the military base, but we do have a lot of patriots. We have people who really want to support the VA loan, but yeah, it's some challenges here sometimes.
Wow, I haven't heard. So could you share some? Like, what are some of the challenges?
Well, the biggest thing with the VA loan is that with the VA loan, the military personnel is not allowed to pay for a lot. Things have to be very turnkey. The negotiations are basically on the seller side. They have to basically submit the property like in pristine condition. Whereas if it was a conventional loan, there would be more negotiation, give and take between what you're willing like to fix up or do different things. And so sometimes the sellers, when they're looking to maximize their net in their pocket, they don't want to put everything into the property for the benefit of acquiring a VA loan versus some of the other. So that's the biggest part, is that the negotiations are different because it's a no down for the veterans, nothing out of pocket, and there are a list of items that the buyer, being the military person, cannot contribute to, cannot pay, where the average person could. So it affects the seller's bottom line sometimes, and sometimes they're not willing to make that sacrifice.
Exactly. And for those of you out there that's some young investors or young listeners, the VA loan is only for veterans and active duty military. You can't trickle it down from your parents, unfortunately. But, yeah, it's only for the military.
Yeah. Yes. So you were saying that you rented out the property. So as a young investor, renting it out, is there anything you want to share with us about that experience, some nuggets that people maybe need to keep in mind when they decide to rent out property?
Renting out property is the best thing that you can ever do with your property. I say rent before you sell. I made a mistake selling later on, and you know, the story time, we'll get to that, but that was the best thing that I could have ever did. Like my husband and I just investing in that and getting that extra income, because you have a say-so in the pricing. You have a say-so. It has to be fair in the neighborhood, but for the most part, if you're doing remodeling, if you're doing certain improvements on the home, you can definitely have a little bit more say-so in the pricing of the rent. So, yeah, just after the rent was paid and all the bills were paid, looking at that extra money in the bank and the joint account, I'm like, oh, let's go shopping. But no, I always would say that. And then just making sure that you're in an area and you have a target audience, like a target market. Always make sure that that's the number one thing with renting. Like if it's in a college town, if it's a military town, you have to target your surroundings for sure, so you know how you're gonna work and make sure you get that guarantee.
Exactly. And just to piggyback off of that a little bit, when I mentioned earlier about accessory dwelling units, that is the ability to add an additional living unit on property that you might already own and control. So we've been talking about the VA loans, that's for vets, and we're talking about utilize them for purchase. But if you're already a homeowner, vet or not, you have the ability in California to build an accessory dwelling unit. And building that accessory dwelling unit on your property gives you that rental property right there. And one of the things that I always tell people, number one, you have to have the target in mind. If you're building for Airbnb, it's different than if you're building for college students. If you're building for your parents, and then maybe phase 2 down the line, maybe fair rental value. You have to keep that in mind, because that goes to the budget, and that goes to really making it a positive impact on your property and your financial outcome. But I think it's one of the best ways to leverage property and to start investing right now is to leverage that property you already own and control.
I agree.
Yes, yes, yes. So, when we're talking about your second property that you bought, do you have anything you want to add into that?
So we went to Washington State, and that's where it all began. That's where the real estate journey became a true reality for me. So at this time, it's not my first rodeo now. The first time I was a power of attorney, doing everything by myself while my husband was away in Europe. Now he's there, so I have confidence because he's there with me. And now I know a lot of things sound familiar for me. However, we had to wait in a hotel for 30 days.
Wow.
Looking for our home. I don't know how common that is. Some people have family members. We didn't know anyone in Washington. So
Right.
sometimes, but we were in a hotel for 30 days. Thank God the military paid for it. So.
And it was only 30 days because sometimes the delay can be longer.
We had a good one. We had a great realtor. My realtor and I, we're still friends to this day. That's how the journey started. I'm going to get to that. So we're in the hotel. We're looking around. We're going touring and everything. And now, us together, what he liked, his wants and needs and everything. And it was smooth. When you're working with the right realtor, with the perfect real estate agent, it's literally your job is done for you.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. So once we honed in on the house we wanted, beautiful flat, about, I want to say when we moved in, we sold at that. So I think when we moved in, it was $380,000. When we moved in, and 3-bedroom, 2 full bath, backyard, fenced in, nice deck, 2-car garage, beautiful neighborhood, dead end street, right out in Olympia, the state capital of Washington. So very great location, everything, no problems whatsoever, and we stayed there for maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Okay.
We Airbnb'd it a lot because we traveled a lot.
Oh, he was still active military?
He was active military.
Okay.
I was traveling, doing my own thing. And when we leave, all we would do is just post it on the Airbnb.
Okay.
So we would make about $1,000 a day, a night,
How did you handle that hospitality part of the cleaning, the booking, all the things that go along with Airbnb? Were you handling that while you were traveling, or did you have like a property management company or anything helping you with that?
For the most part, it would be either or.
Okay.
Sometimes my husband would be there. He'll handle it to save money because you just do it off basis. So sometimes if we wanted to save, if I was there, I'll do it. Or we'll just have it appointed through Airbnb, the app.
Okay.
So it was really good. It was cool. I was just like, not in my home where I live.
Okay.
Like if we had another home where we,
Right.
We could make it an Airbnb, that would be more fun. But I was just like, you know what, we got to keep packing up all of our prized possession and locking this. And we had deadbolts and stuff, and it was working. It was good. It was a good investment. It was when Airbnb first started getting popular.
Exactly. Okay.
So we was just trying something, and now we have all different type of different apps. Look, make sure Airbnb get us a sponsorship for this shout out.
Right.
But no, yes, for sure. So once we realized that we weren't going to do that anymore, we just we decided, like, what did we want to do? We refinanced once as well. It was around COVID.
Okay.
So COVID
changed a lot of things.
COVID changed a lot of things, yes. So during the COVID era, we definitely did our refi, and we stayed for maybe like one more year, and we just decided to sell. I came back to Southern California.
Right where you are right now.
Yes.
I think that's a great segue into our first break. If you stay with us when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how to utilize business entities, your living trust when investing, and get a little bit more insight from Ms. Clark's actual experience. Okay, stay with us. We'll see you shortly.
Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on Real Radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation, or call our CEO for details, 281-599-9800.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it.
KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
Thank you for tuning in to the E Network, where we're talking entrepreneurship, giving real life experiences, tools, and resources for you to leverage what the property you already own and control to become a homeowner and to make a difference. So we're back. This segment, we're going to talk a little bit about business structures and real estate investment. So in our first segment, Ms. Clark was talking about her purchasing her home using a VA loan, purchasing second property, using it as an investment, having rentals and so forth. And so we want to talk a little bit about how having a formal business structure can benefit you, and also how to utilize your living trust. So as I said before, I'm Dr. Sharon Barnes. I'm the CEO of ADU Advantage, where I focus on helping homeowners build accessory dwelling units and families come together to leverage property that they already own and control. And when I say that, I'm talking about basically coming together to create living units on a property that's already within the family. And with the cost of living in California and after COVID, a lot of people are coming to bringing family units together that create homes for the parents in the backyard, for adult kids, for college-age kids who now not living on campus but are transitioning to a unit in the backyard while they go to school, and just kind of a transitional part for the family. And so in doing that, when I say leverage, the true way of leveraging property that you own is to treat it like a business. So I would venture to say 80% of my clients are building homes for their parents or surviving parent. And they talk about, the rentals. And like Ms. Clark said, renting out the property, one of the best things she did. But when it comes to your kids and your mother, sometimes you're like, I just want to build it for her. I can't charge it. She's my mother. But the truth of the matter is that most of our seniors are on some type of fixed income or have to report their income to an entity. And they're in Social Security. They can't just stack dollars in the bank. So you have to charge mother rent. But no one tells you what to do with that money once you collect the rent. So you can collect the rent from your mother. You can put it in the trust account for the family, and you can pay for mother's house cleaning. You can send her to see her grandparents, her grandkids. You can put her on a cruise, but we have to recycle those dollars. And also, when we're talking about adult kids and families, a lot of the clients I have build the accessory dwelling units, collect the rent from the adult kids, and they pay off the loan that it costs to build the accessory dwelling unit, but then also put aside extra to create that down payment that the family needs to go and buy their own property at the next stage. So it is a way of families coming together. Now, I mentioned several times the Living Trust. Had one family, daughter going through some situations of life, wanted to build an accessory dwelling unit in her mother's backyard. And the other siblings were like, well, if something happened to mom, you get the whole property. This is the family house. And so what we're able to do with the Living Trust is to document the agreement between the daughter and the mother. The daughter's 100% responsible for the accessory dwelling unit. The occupant of the main house and her, they pay equal maintenance on the property. She paid the tax difference. She pays off the loan. And the mother was able to, document her desires after the fact. In the meantime, the trust, having its own bank account, was treated like the landlord. So every month, the daughter puts her rent into that account, and the trust pays the mortgage off on the loan.
Exactly.
So all the paperwork is separate, because we do a lot of these things not for the families ourselves or the people that we live with, love, and related to. We do it for third parties. If anyone comes in and they need financial information or you need to refi or whatever, you can go to that bank account, go to that Living Trust, and pull out all the documentation. I don't have to go into anyone's personal account. Same thing is when we look at utilizing a, say, LLC. LLCs are very common, but people get hung up on the word limited liability company. The liability is limited to the ownership. So if you're one party LLC, you're still 100% responsible. But you can do the documentation. It is a formal business entity. You can start establishing business credit, get credit cards. And again, it's another wealth building tool for your family. So LLCs, corporations, picking the right entity for your family, for your project, keeping those tax liabilities down and personal liabilities at bay is one of the best reasons to get the formal business entity, as well as building business credit to take the personal burden off of you. Exactly. Okay, it's very important. So you have any questions, anything you think I can add?
So I just had a question with building those properties. Okay, so when you have both of the homes, the front, the one in the front, or the extended one that you have, you said it's completely separate from that property.
It has to be self-sustaining so that you could access it with a separate interest, never go into the main house. It has a full kitchen, full bathroom, living, and so a lot of times if you can convert a garage as long as you can have an excess outside. They don't have to come into the main house. Right now, with the recent laws in California, you can actually build up to 3 units on your house, on your property. So in the Inland Empire, for instance, we have a lot of homes that are built, one on 2 acres, one on 5 acres. Now, if you have 5 acres behind your main house, you can potentially get up to 3 units without even subdividing it. So if we're getting to a point where the homeless problem and the housing shortage is so rampant in our country that they say all hands on deck. If you have the ability to meet certain setbacks on your property, please add a unit, starting off with you and your family. That frees up housing for other people. So when I say independent, it's not like the old granny flats and guest houses that we used to have in the back where they only had like a hot plate or a counter for a microwave and then maybe a shower and a toilet. But
fully operational.
Yeah, they have
plumbing.
Yeah, everything.
Utilities.
Self-sustaining. You can live there long term. Not like living in your hotel for 30 days, okay? It's like living in a house. They didn't even have a kitchenette in that one either, yeah. Right.
So, yeah, I love that because when I was younger, when I was 18 and I moved out, I was staying with, it was they were from Honduras. And they had what we used to call back then a back house.
Right.
And this is when I'm guessing it started getting popular because it was under construction for the most part, but it was more it was modern. Right. It was nice. It was clean. They were working on it. It had a shower, kitchen, backyard. Right. And everything. It was like 3 bedrooms.
Right.
Some of the walls were a little, lopsided a little bit. You could tell that they were, building it in and everything like that. But I remember that was my first experience. And that's what we said, back house. It's the back house.
Yeah. And now, there are millions of those back houses that still are in existence. A lot of them are not permitted under current standards. And so now they're trying to get an amnesty law going through whereby homeowners can bring them up to standard and be able to rent them out to make sure those walls are up to current California construction standard, and that they're safe. Health and safety is like number one, and that's the main reason why if you do have a structure on your property that's not permitted, that's the best reason to get a permission is health and safety, because if you rent that out and there's a fire or someone is harmed, it could wipe you and your family out. So we want people to take their families forward, not to be wiped out by circumstances. And so I'm excited and hopeful that we'll get the amnesty in where we can bring unpermitted structures up where families can rent them out legally and safely and get that income to make a difference in their household. And as far as the construction right now with accessory dwelling units, you can have the modular, so they can be built in a factory, or we have steel frame available, plus the regular steel stick build and garage conversion. So all type of construction is available for you to create these homes within budget to make a difference.
And Dr. Sharon, to add on to that as well, when you mentioned construction, it made me realize and remember when I was door knocking for Keller Williams back in the day, I noticed a lot of properties here in Los Angeles. Well, in Los Angeles area, they had homes in the front, in the same land, in the same parcel, homes and apartments behind them. So I never understood that, and I didn't understand. I'm like, are they owned by the same people? Is it, just one lot? And they built, and it's almost like small little mini complex, mini subdivisions within one parcel of land.
Exactly. And so we go back to that we've been doing this for a while because of housing. But now, starting in like 2017, when the inventory of houses got really low and they said like all hands on deck for everybody to build, they started to do it a little bit more. And so those houses that you saw usually are owned by the same person because there's no subdivision of the lot. So whoever's on the main house also owns those fourplexes.
Whole apartment units. Yes, I was like, wow.
Well, again, when I mentioned earlier, say the Inland Empire, where we have like one house on 5 acres, that house, that lot could be zoned for 5 houses. It's only had one there. And so you have that one unit and you could build a fourplex in your backyard, according to your zone right now. And now with the accessory dwelling unit law, what they really did was start to remove barriers for cost. So if you build, say, an accessory dwelling unit 750 square feet or less, you don't have to pay impact fees, the school, the emergency. So you save $20,000, $30,000 right there. If you want to build a couple of units or build them like apartments, there are manufacturers out there, steel frame, stick build, that can do that as well. So yes, that's owned by usually the same person if the lot's not subdivided. And right now, in January this year, 2024, they just passed the law. Where we can start selling the accessory dwelling units. It's an opt-in law. The cities have to opt in to do it, then they have to implement them. But now they're going to be allowing homeowners to sell ADUs, accessory dwelling units, just like condos. So, and if
Thank you for that.
And you can actually, if you have like 5 acres, the way the law is stated now, some people with subdivisions can get up to like 8 doors. So you can take your single house to multifamily.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It's definitely something to think about as for when you think about investing, and it's definitely evolving.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So right now we're here at another break, and so stay with us. We'll come back and we're going to talk about some pricing difference between Los Angeles, the Inland Empire, location when it comes to real estate. Stay with us. We'll see you shortly.
KCAA Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on Real Radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation, or call our CEO for details, 281-599-9800.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it.
KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
Welcome back to the E Network. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We've been talking about VA loans, investment, real estate, leveraging property you already own and control with formal business entities, and utilizing your living trust. Now we're back and we want to talk a little bit more about real estate, but now we're going to focus on some different price models based on location. And so I'm going to let this LaDeja take it away.
Okay, I just had a couple of price comparisons I wanted to go over and discuss, because the numbers are, if you're looking in the business to save, the numbers are very important. It's a huge difference between LA and some surrounding cities that I took some notes on here. So first, a lot of times people want to move out of the state, or sometimes they don't want to move out of the state, they just want to move out of the city. And one of the cities that I've been talking about on this show is Riverside, Temecula area. And I did some different numbers from last year to now, to 2023 to 2024. So LA, Los Angeles, we have about, last year it was at, the average was 396,000. I'm sorry, 968,000. So that was last year. And in Temecula, last year, we were at 679,000. So just the average price for the homes, just the average homes, like 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And then this year in Los Angeles, we're at 1.3 million. That's a $1 million home. Some beautiful homes. I was looking, trying to stay focused. I kept getting distracted.
Easy to do.
And then now in Temecula in 2024, we're at 731,000. And the difference with per square footage, the price per square footage is $379. Okay. And then I have two more. I did Austin and I did Scottsdale, Arizona. Austin, Texas first. Last year, comparing the square footage in Los Angeles was $731 per square feet. And then in Austin, Texas, last year it was $525,000. And it decreased to about 4.6%. And then in 2024 in Austin, Texas, it's $650,000. And where we're at $378 per square footage in Austin. So you can see like you're saving a lot, maybe anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 just on the same exact house, 3-bedroom, 4-bath. A lot of those are just average homes. And then the last comparison I did from Los Angeles is Scottsdale, and it's a little more closer to LA. Last year was at 1 million, 1.2. in Scottsdale, but it had another like median of 824,000. So just fluctuating, just depending on the area that I was looking in, anywhere from 800,000 to 945,000, and that was last year in Scottsdale. And then 2024, this year, we had 18% over the year go up from pretty much the same amount. So that's, that's where I went in on. So, okay, 800,000, but we're still over time is in the window of 945,000. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but basically it's still more expensive in Los Angeles. So between Temecula, Austin, and Scottsdale, which are not too far from Los Angeles, it's still a $200,000 to $300,000 difference in savings. And per square feet in Scottsdale, if you're wondering, it's $462.
Okay.
Sorry about that. If I butchered it.
That's okay.
All these numbers.
That's okay. I only can go to the accessory dwelling unit, and that, like I said, is my passion. And I keep saying it's leveraging what you own and control. So we know from those numbers, it's just expensive to buy property anywhere in the country now. I mean, anywhere. And if you decide to invest out of state, I mean, you have long distance management, costs, travel, and different things. So if you have a home here in California and you want to invest in the property that you already have with accessory dwelling units, the average price to build is $250 to $300 a square foot, which is more like $100 to $150 cheaper than the houses that we're buying that was built in 1920 that's been revised, rehabbed or whatever, but we still can build it a little cheaper. So that's why I'm getting, I believe, a lot of clients, as I said earlier, that are building for family, for parents, for adult kids, because this accessory dwelling units are becoming the first time homes for our children, right, and grandkids. So just imagine that for 750 square feet, you can get 2 bedrooms, 2 baths in your backyard, $250 a square foot. And for every 100,000, you're paying about $500, $600 a month on that loan. So if you got a $200,000 loan, then you're looking at about $1,200. But the rent in Los Angeles, they're charging $3,000 to $4,000 a month for accessory dwelling units. Now, these units in the backyard are brand new construction, recessed lighting, usually come with appliances, luxury floors. So you're getting a nice custom new built, not sharing any walls type of home. And so if you can do that in your backyard, that is, to me, still the best way to leverage in California. So yes, we need to, and as realtors, I'm all for it. We need to buy property. If you don't own, you need to buy. Absolutely. Those numbers that Ms. Clark rattled off, those are things that we need, and we need to get you qualified for that. But once we get that, we need to leverage it and take advantage of new investment rather than, it's hard to flip in California. You should be, fixing flips. Now, a lot of investors that I work with are doing more buy and hold, and not only are they buying and just holding, but they're buying, building, maximizing their lot, getting all that income and holding. So that's a good way to do it and to think about it, because we still get calls from people who think that accessory dwelling units, they want to act, maybe like they're tiny homes, and they say, I thought I could do it for $50,000. No, we're talking about building a self-sustaining long-term home up to construction standard that has everything that any other house would have. And so $250,000 to $300 a square foot, to me, is still very reasonable compared to buying another home that's already built, maybe even in 2008, 2010, and it's going for $600 a square foot. So it's just something to keep in mind. They just keep perspective, but
especially with the location, like.
Right.
the difference with the comparisons that I just named down with those cities, Temecula, Austin, Texas, and Scottsdale, those would be some nice places to even consider as well, because Los Angeles is so much more expensive. And if you're thinking about doing something like that, even for first-time homeowners, it would be probably better or beneficial to go out into the Inland Empire and these surrounding cities as well. So you can even consider building on that, because the square footage in Los Angeles, in order to be able to even build on your own land, would be way much more expensive than even, and that's why people in the city probably wouldn't even consider doing that. The ADUs.
Yeah, there's so much going on. I mean, with the construction, the new stadium, we got the Olympics coming.
Exactly.
There's an age group that's all over LA that love it. And then to speak about the Inland Empire, like I'm in the area of Riverside County, but Beaumont and Banning, and there's so much building going on for new home and senior communities. And I've met a lot of seniors who were in LA who sold their houses. I mean, they sold their house for $1.5 million. They came to Inland Empire, bought them a home.
We say don't move out, move inland.
Yeah. They bought them a home for like $500,000, and they put almost $1 million in the bank, and they're living the life because they have options now. Their retirement is up. They have money in the bank. Their home. I've met a lot of them doing open houses in senior communities and different things. A lot of people who just talk about how more relieved and relaxed they are to enjoy family, to travel, because they sold their home in Los Angeles and moved to the Inland Empire. So it's definitely an option to consider. And when we talk about the senior housing, we don't have that intense competition that we have other places, because it's senior and because a lot of the senior places are HOAs. The inventory is a little bit better. When we just go in the general market, we still have a housing shortage. We're still buying and selling houses, but we need to increase that inventory, and that's why the evolution of the accessory dwelling units is really like a wave that's still building.
Absolutely, yeah, and I totally agree. It's just inland is what's best, and even if far as like not even selling, I wouldn't even advise selling in LA. Keep your home in LA in case you do have your kids or you want to go back, because I understand the inland is far and is a lot of space. They're still rebuilding. It's seeming like it's more and more getting more and more popular in real estate. However, like I said, my experience with renting, just that extra money, that extra cash coming in is always so attractive to me. So, even if you decide that you want to lease your home in LA and move and get your ADU in the inland or Temecula or Scottsdale, Austin, Texas, check it out, because you don't have to. Who wants to come back to LA and then you have to pay for an Airbnb? Now you have to pay for a hotel, and you could just go right back to your own property.
Exactly. And again, what we can talk a little bit about too before the next break is the financing, because like you say, it would be a better option, at certain age ranges, to keep the property and maybe to utilize that equity to buy another property or a bill or whatever, and then you have both. And especially if you're renting in Los Angeles, the rental income is basically paying for the loan that you take out to leverage, and so that's definitely an option. And I understand you went to a Cal Halfa
homeownership
there. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that. You can start now, and then we can come back after the break and continue. But did you get any good nuggets about what's on the horizon or newly here that we can take advantage of?
Not today, Dr. Sharon. I wish I would have brought some of my material that I had from there, because it was a great experience. I advise everyone to go if you can. They have them all the time. It's free. You go in there. They have coffee and donuts. They have all the booths for you. They make you feel at home. They break everything down for you right then and there. I'm like, ooh, I'm about to walk out of here with a home today. So it's very informative. A lot of information, everything. I have a lot of brochures, a lot of people's business cards I added to my database that have reached out to me already, that I reached back out to as well. So a lot of good relationships that started.
Good. That's excellent. And I know that the cow heifer is one of the things that.
And not to mention, that was my first time.
Okay.
So it was my first time. I was very excited. I was just,
Good.
just soaking it up. I didn't know what to expect. I had no expectations, and I will start going more.
Yeah. Those educational events are really key to being able to even serve our community better. I'm scheduled for a cow heifer event next month in July. So we gotta keep gotta keep the ear to the grind. So because otherwise we don't know what's happening and we can't help our community and be that resource for our profession that we are.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, but I was saying with cow heifer, a lot of people we do the home equity line of credit, and some people don't understand how that works. And so we're at another break. We're going to come back, and I just want to talk about the HELOCs a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up, okay? Stay with us. We'll see you shortly.
KCAA Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on Real Radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation, or call our CEO for details, 281-599-9800.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it. KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
Welcome back to the E-Network Entrepreneurship. We're talking about real estate, investment, loans, accessory dwelling unit investment strategies. And so before we went to the break, I was mentioning the HELOC. I wanted to talk about that because that's one of the number one ways that accessory dwelling units are getting financed these days. And we talked about all the equity that's in homes, say in Los Angeles and whatever. So I'm kind of surprised sometimes people don't understand that the home equity line of credit, referred to as HELOC, is kind of like, think of like a credit card. You get qualified for the amount of equity you have in your home. Usually it's an 80-20 type split. You can get a HELOC up to 80% of the equity available in your home. So say you have $100,000 or $200,000 on a HELOC. You can start taking that money to build an accessory dwelling unit on property that you own. That can be investment property, or that can be your primary home. And you only pay back the amount that you utilize. So when you initially reach out to someone to do a design, to talk to a contractor, or reach out to an ADU specialist like myself to help you put together the right team and to get the right strategy in place, you're only paying the fees necessary to get started. Then you start paying that back. Once you get the construction, then of course at different phases to set out in your proposal and in your contract, they start doing draws against the HELOC based on the completion of your project. No one wants you to pay out all this money and end up with an incomplete project. So we do have to have fund controls. That's why it's important to treat it like a business. That's why it's important to reach out to an ADU consultant like myself with ADU Advantage and others to put together your team so that we can actually make your dream a reality. I've talked about accessory accessory dwelling units quite a bit. I just want to say that there's a lot of moving parts. The laws are evolving. There's things on the horizon that's going to affect it even more to make it a very beneficial investment. As part of kind of getting the understanding and leveraging the conversations and experiences I've had with homeowners thus far, I've written a book called Unveiling Accessory Dwelling Units. It's on Amazon. I think that it's a great resource to have for you to be able to read, to tangibly understand things yourself, and go from there to getting answers to your question or reaching out for further information, because every city, every county is different. And so it's going to come a time when it's going to have to be customized to where you live and to your particular lot. But you can get fundamental information in my book, Unveiling Accessory Dwelling Units by Dr. Sharon Barnes. You can also follow me on YouTube at ADU Advantage, and just Google me. I'm out there, and you can reach out to me. My office number is 951-824-6911, and just I'm here to help. So, Ms. Clark, any takeaways or anything, and tell them what you're doing and how they can contact you?
Yes, thank you. I learned so much today. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon. That was a lot of information I could soak in. Took some good notes as well. My name is LaDeja. I'm here in Southern California doing real estate, also international real estate as well. So just getting on that groove on not selling, renting, leasing, and don't move out, move inland. And you can find me on TikTok at Real Estate Strategies Now, on Instagram at intl.realty. Okay. And also you can email me at realestatestrategiesnow@gmail.com.
Yes, I think this has been a very great conversation, and then we threw a lot of things out. My takeaway from the numbers that we were able to discuss, and just home ownership and building wealth with real estate, is to actually analyze the situation, see how you can utilize a real estate strategy to better the life for you and your family. I mean, we talk a lot about generational wealth. People do it with cryptocurrency. We have just different ways floating around out there, but more millionaires are made from investing in real estate. That has been the core of American wealth building for generations. And now...
And the ADUs make it easier to do.
Yeah.
With the ADUs, it goes in hand in hand.
Exactly.
So that's what I definitely want to get more into, because I've always felt, I just seen something on the metaverse. It had a land, and they had like a huge big house, and it had multiple units, and basically what you know your first love. Yeah. So it's like and a lot of people were like, would you like this or no? And it was a little mix, and people were like, oh no, my mom gonna be asking me where am I going at 3 a.m. in the morning, and that tickled me. But I think that is definitely generational wealth at its finest, building on your lot, building on your parcel. So definitely
I think, and I've had families, I mean, that built the ADU in the backyard and said, you know, my adult son now coming in at 3 a.m. in the morning, okay, he needs to go down this driveway, okay, I don't want him coming in, and he's going to be there, we're going to collect rent, we're going to build up a nest egg and then get him a house and make sure he builds an ADU.
As a transitional period.
And then his brother's going to be out of high school, and they're going to, that's what we're doing. And so the other thing in talking with families, it's like, it's not 0 to 100 when it comes to ADUs or even investing in real estate. We need to start thinking like a business and think in terms of phases.
Longevity.
Let's utilize that equity we have in our LA property. Let's get that, lined it up, and let's get a plan, and let's make a difference and buy inland.
Yes, don't move out, move inland.
Thank you for joining us and staying with us. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, happy
Be safe on the 4th.
KCAA and KCAA Internet Television, the station that leaves no listener and no viewer behind.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Spear, a licensed agent with Litchfield Insurance Associates here in Beaumont. A large portion of Americans don't have life insurance or don't have enough. Whether you need a temporary policy, something to help with income during retirement, or making sure your final expenses are taken care of, having life insurance is an act of love and security for your whole family. Having a local trusted agent makes navigating through the sometimes complex world of life insurance so much easier. And I would love to be the one to help you. I'm Kaylee Spear. For your free consultation, people are calling 951-769-0005. 951-769-0005.
What is your plan for your beneficiaries to manage your final expenses when you pass away? Life insurance, annuities, bank accounts, investment accounts, all require a death certificate, which takes 10 days based